welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a really quite a singular account. It's about a profound encounter, apparently in a forest, and it seems to hint at some big transformations, maybe even for all of us.
Yeah, it sounds fascinating. Where does this account come from?
So we're working from excerpts from a YouTube video. It's called El Sendero de la Iniciación Parte 20.
Okay.
From Marcelo Martorelli on the Masala del Pensamiento channel. And our aim today is really just to unpack the key moments, understand what's being reported and its supposed significance.
Right, and what strikes me immediately is how a very personal story, like this sounds, is framed as having these broader implications. It makes you wonder, what is the nature of these kinds of reported encounters?
Exactly. Why this one? Why is it presented as so, consequential? So let's set the scene. It's in a forest. There's a disciple who's apparently just had a very moving experience with someone or something called Elon.
Elon.
And then this disciple goes back to his teacher. And this is where it gets interesting. The teacher seems to just know.
Ah, that moment of recognition. You see that in quite a few narratives, don't you?
We do. The teacher apparently understands what happened without needing, the whole story laid out.
Which raises questions, doesn't it? What allows for that kind of knowing? Is it like an energy reading? Or maybe something they expected? A shared understanding?
That's a good point. The source says the teacher noticed the disciple's energy had changed. There was a new certainty. Clarity.
Okay, so a tangible shift.
Seems so. And then the disciple asks, what now? What's the next step?
And the teacher's answer is key here, I imagine.
Very much so. The teacher apparently says this encounter with Elon, it's not the end. It's actually the start of the true mission.
The true mission.
Yeah, and that mission unfolds internally, guided by the heart, intuition, awakened consciousness, that sort of thing.
So it reframes the whole thing. The big encounter isn't the peak, it's the kickoff point for inner work.
Precisely. It's described as a vibrational initiation.
A vibrational initiation. And is the disciple just left alone to figure this out?
No, actually. The video mentions ongoing support. Both Elon and the teacher will remain connected vibrationally.
Vibrationally connected. Okay, so that suggests some kind of subtle, maybe energetic or conscious support, not necessarily physical meetings.
That seems to be the idea. Like a feeling of guidance, perhaps? An intuitive link?
It's an interesting concept. So this initiation, does it change the disciple in noticeable ways, according to the source?
It does. The description is that his vibration becomes more peaceful and also more luminous.
Luminous. Interesting word choice.
Isn't it? And apparently this change affects others around him. People just start being drawn to him.
Spontaneously.
Yes, spontaneously. Seeking advice, guidance. And he receives them humbly, still feeling Elon's presence with him.
So his inner shift is having an outer ripple effect. People are picking up on something.
Seems that way. And then things progress. There's a second encounter mentioned.
Ah, okay. Not just a one-off event then.
Right. This time it happens while he's meditating in the forest at dawn. Elon reappears.
Reinforcing that connection. Making it an ongoing dialogue, perhaps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Elon says something really significant here. The quote is, "Querido hermano, nunca me fui realmente mi presencia, ahora está plenamente integrada en tu vibración."
Okay, let's unpack that. Dear brother, I never really left. My presence is now fully integrated into your vibration.
Yeah. What does that suggest to you, reaching that point of integration?
Well, it sounds like a profound internalization. It's moving beyond seeing Elon as separate, an external visitor. Now, that presence is woven into the disciple's own being, his own energy field, you could say. It implies interdimensional interaction becoming almost natural, second nature.
Natural, right. Which leads the disciple to ask, okay, what's the point of all this? What's the ultimate purpose? The mission.
And what answer does Elon give?
It's pretty big. Elon apparently explains the purpose is to establish a stable vibrational bridge. A vibrational bridge between humanity and what are called the Earth's inner realms.
Earth's inner realms. Okay,
Yeah.
so this isn't just about the disciple anymore. It's about connecting humanity to something else, some other aspect of Earth.
That's the idea presented.
Yeah.
He's meant to be a conduit for a much wider connection. When you hear vibrational bridge and inner realms, what does that bring up? Accessing planetary consciousness, inner wisdom traditions.
It could mean many things, depending on the framework, couldn't it? But the core idea seems to be facilitating a connection between dimensions or states of being associated with the Earth itself.
And get this, The disciple is called a true interdimensional ambassador.
Ambassador, wow.
Yeah, and supposedly prepared for this role over many lifetimes.
Okay, that adds another layer entirely. Destiny, purpose, being groomed for this specific role of bridging worlds.
Right, so his mission then is to help other souls awaken to this higher reality.
And the source expects this to spread.
Yes. The idea is that this initial contact will trigger many, many more experiences like it, exponentially even.
A kind of chain reaction of awakening, a broader shift in consciousness.
Seems to be the implication. Now, the practical question, how does this ambassador actually do that?
Yeah.
How does he help others awaken? Does he, preach or try to convince them?
But Elon's instructions are very specific on this. According to the text, it's quite counterintuitive.
How so?
Elon apparently says, no necesitarás hacer esfuerzo alguno para que los otros despierten tu sola presencia. Ahora despierta vibracionalmente a quienes estén listos para recordar su esencia.
Okay. You won't need to make any effort for others to awaken. Your presence alone now vibrationally awakens those who are ready to remember their essence.
Exactly. No effort needed. His very being, his vibration becomes the catalyst.
So he just needs to.
Yeah.
And share his experience.
Share authentically, yes. From the heart. Without trying to persuade or convert anyone. The idea is resonance. Those who are ready, whose hearts are prepared, will recognize his vibration. They'll be drawn naturally, guided by an inner calling.
So it's not about pushing information. It's about radiating a certain frequency that resonates with readiness in others. Awakening as an inside job triggered by resonance.
Precisely. It puts the power back into the inner state of the seeker, really.
That's a very different model. Okay, what about more encounters, more physical meetings with Elon? Does the source say if those will happen often?
Elon clarifies that, yes, physical interactions will happen again, but strategically. Only when necessary for the greater plan. They'll arise naturally, not on demand, and they'll be for specific purposes: service, teaching, planetary healing.
So purpose-driven, not just for show or personal reassurance.
Yeah.
It's about the bigger picture.
Exactly. Intention over spectacle.
Makes sense. And when people come to this disciple seeking answers, wanting to understand, what's the core message he's supposed to give them?
Elon gives a pretty straightforward message for that, essentially.
El mensaje esencial es sencillo que ellos también puedan acceder a esta realidad cuando su vibración interna esté preparada.
The essential message is simple. They too can access this reality when their inner vibration is prepared.
Right, and then it elaborates. Tell them it's not about looking for external signs or, spectacular experiences. It's about cultivating an inner state, deep love, trust, absolute surrender to life.
So, again, it comes back to the inner work.
Absolutely. An interdimensional contact in this view is ultimately just a natural reflection of your internal vibrational state.
It's an effect, not something you chase directly.
That seems to be the core teaching here.
Okay. Then the disciple asks about the bigger picture, the collective impact. Soon. In the near future.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets, quite specific about timing.
The predictions. What does Elon say?
Predicts a big increase in these awakenings globally,
Yeah.
leading to the formation of the first interdimensional school on the Earth's surface.
An interdimensional school. Wow. And when is this supposed to happen?
The time frame given is, it's very soon, between 2025 and 2032.
2025 to 2032, that's practically now. That really puts it on our doorstep, doesn't it?
It does. And there's more. Around 2032, the narrative talks about specific portals opening.
Portals.
Yeah, in key geographic spots. Patagonia is mentioned specifically.
Patagonia, huh. Any reason given why there?
Not detailed in these excerpts, but it's highlighted.
Yeah.
And these portals are supposedly going to allow physical encounters for people vibrating at the right higher frequency.
Okay, so physical contact becoming more accessible, but conditional on vibration. And where does this all lead, according to Elon? What's the ultimate outcome?
The long-term vision is, it's grand. A great interdimensional reunion, culminating in planetary independence in the year 2406.
2406, so almost 4 centuries from now. That's a very long game they're describing.
It certainly frames this whole thing within a vast cosmic evolutionary timeline for humanity. And the disciple apparently feels this information resonate very deeply, commits to the mission.
Understandable, given the scope of it all. How does the encounter end?
Elon gives some final words of reassurance. There's a gesture touching the disciple's heart.
Yeah.
Very. Reassuring him he's always present, vibrationally, telling him to live with joy, radiate loving certainty, and just trust the plan unfolding.
Trust the process. Common themes in these kinds of narratives.
Indeed. Then Elon departs, leaving a lasting impact. The video apparently concludes by saying the disciple lived true to this vision, Elon's words were fulfilled, and it marked a new chapter for humanity's conscious evolution.
So boiling it down, what this account presents, what you take away from this deep dive, is this potential pathway. Individual awakening, triggered by encounter, nurtured by inner work, leading to this wider interdimensional future. And it all seems to hinge on this idea of inner vibration, being ready.
Exactly, which leads us to the final thought for you listening. Given this heavy emphasis on inner state, on vibration, readiness, cultivating love and trust is the key, what specific inner shifts might you explore? Shifts in your beliefs, maybe? Or your focus day-to-day, your practices? What might open you up, even just a little, to a deeper sense of interconnectedness, or to considering realities beyond what we usually perceive? Something to think about.